Ah, blunders. Everybody makes them. Even on the first move, people blunder all the time. In fact, almost everybody blunders on the first move. So many people make the horrible blunder of playing e4, which is absolutely horrible. But so many people don't play the correct move to punish this opening. So many people play the blunder of e5, which is another bad move, because it's doing the same thing as they are. You're blundering just like they are, so this is not good. You also have e6, a horrible blunder, d5, a blunder as well. You had the right idea trying to attack this misplaced pawn, but you're not doing it the right way. Because this is a center pawn and this is also a center pawn, so really this is an even trade, which is not good. You want to punish this opening, not let this opening be. Then this is also a blunder, and of course this is a giga blunder. And this is also a blunder, and this is also a blunder. So many people don't know the correct move. In fact, it's almost nowhere to be seen. But the correct move, and there's only two of them actually, but I will show you the best one. F5. This is a brilliant move because it opens up your king, making it more active, and it also attacks the center pawn with a flank pawn this time. Usually the Scandinavian defense wasn't good because it attacked with a center pawn, but when you do it with a flank pawn, that's much better because a flank pawn is worth less than a center pawn. So you want to trade your flank pawns for center pawns, which gives a lot of good value. People think this is a bad move because they think, well, this is a free pawn. It's a quote-unquote free pawn. But that's not true. If white takes, they are losing horribly. Like, they were already losing, but this is just... There's no way they can win now. It's like impossible. If you lose in this position, well, you suck at chess, bro. So the move you have to play, and all of these moves are forced. The move you have to play is g6, and you are preparing to win a queen this way. Now they take, then you play d5. Now they take again. And then you put the bishop on e6. And you win your opponent's queen. Your opponent is in a completely last position because you have this open file. You have bishops that have lots of view over the board. And you have a bunch of open files. You have this. All these can be used by your rooks and your queen and stuff. And all of this can be used by your bishops. And now they are likely going to be shocked by your brilliancy and play this move. Which, yeah, you win another queen. This is forced, by the way. They can't do anything other than this. So yeah, Stockfish says this is completely winning for black because you played the best move of f5 and they blundered with e takes f5 and you won both of their queens through a forced series of moves. So there's no other line. It's all forced. Trust. Another thing you can also do is you can play king f7, and this is another brilliant move because it activates the king. And then when they play queen h5, you play king to f6, and now your king is so active and their king is literally just sitting behind there. Their king is not a leader. Their king is lazy and is sitting behind all of these pawns. It's only controlling these squares. It's not doing anything. Your king is out in the board fighting for his soldiers, and it is so active right now. It controls this, it controls this, it controls this, and this. So you have a very powerful king. Let's say they blunder again with like something like, I don't know, knight c3 or something. Now you just move your king up the board, and this is really good for you because now your king controls the center. Like these four squares are something you want to control, and now your king is in control of all four of them. This is really good for you, and white should resign at this point. This is proof that the Duras Gambit completely refused the blunder of e4. Regardless of how you play the Duras Gambit, you will always be winning as long as you don't blunder. by playing the horrible move of knight f6. This does nothing for your development. It doesn't help win a queen. It doesn't bring out your king. So this is not good. Over here in this position, they might decline the gambit. They might turn it into what is called the Staunton Gambit. This arises from d4 and then f5. By the way, when you play as black and you play against d4, you should not play f5 because it doesn't attack the pawn. You should play g5. And this is brilliant because it feeds each other's your bishop, and now it's about to attack this pawn. You're going to have so much pressure on this, and then they take this even worse because like this diagonal. You might even get the rook. Probably you're going to get the rook. This is completely winning for you. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you see d4. Another blunder, by the way, because of this move. Really good. But if your opponent for some reason decides to transpose into this, you bring your king out. And this is really good because you have an active king and they have no active king. It's not doing anything. So they have to bring their king out as well, or risk your king being so active that it like controls basically the whole board. But you keep moving your king. Now you have an extra tempo, and look what happens. Now you gain opposition, and their king can only go here. So yeah, now you get to move your king up the board, and like Socrates is saying, you're the #1 best player in the world right now. So so this is completely winning for you. You should have no problem winning this game because you have such an active king. It's literally controlling their side of the board. Like imagine having such a good king that controls your opponent's side of the board. That's insane. So yeah, your opponent's pieces are not gonna have any fun because like you're gonna like take all the pieces with your king because the king is such a powerful piece. And that's what happens if they do something like transition into something. If they like I don't know, do this, bring your king. They do this, bring your king. Always bring your king out if they like transpose into another gambit or whatever. If they try to defend their pawn, now you also bring your king. Just anytime they don't take the pawn, you should always just bring your king out. Because the goal of chess is to get your king to the other side of the board as fast as possible. And when you do that, you win. That is the supreme goal of chess, and that's why chess is the best game. Because you get to move your king up the board. A lot of people don't know this, but now you know. Your king needs to be all the way on the other side of the board. And since your king is already on his way, you have a huge advantage and should be winning the game. Your opponent might try in vain to move their king off the board as fast as possible because they understand that the goal of chess is to move their king up the board as fast as possible, and that's why they played e4 because they wanted to move their king. But the reason e4 is so bad is because now you move your king and it's better because your pawn controls the king side. And you can quickly join it up with g5 later on, once their king tries to go here, and like your opponent can't do anything. Like, let's say they go here, you go here, and when they go here to the only square their king can move forward to, now you play g5, and then their king has to run back, and now you gain opposition. See, and now their king is stuck in this part of the board. And you're completely winning. Like, let's say after a move like this, now you push your king forward, and you have a completely winning game because your king is so far advanced. It's going to promote, and yeah, that's basically it. Alright, so I just had this game which really demonstrates the power of the Duras Gambit against this guy named Grandmaster Gogo in 1998. You can see he has 5 minutes on the clock, even though it's a bullet game. Because he was so mad after being defeated by the brilliant Duras Gambit that he decided to stall up the clock. And because of this, I decided to just keep spamming 15 seconds. Spam giving him 15 seconds over and over again. And because I thought it was funny. But yeah, this really shows that the Duras Gambit can really infuriate these e4 blunderers. So he starts off with this horrible move, of course. We have to punish it. And he tries to do this thing called a transposition. And remember what I said, right? If they do not take the pawn, play king f7. And that's what I did. I played king f7. And you can do this even if they do take the pawn, but I think g6 is a stronger move because it would allow you to win their queen because they take and then take and then take. Because they take and then take and then take. And then they take and then they get a queen. But you take the queen and then they lose another queen if they do this, which they will because they were taught to always do this when move f pawn. So here I played d5, not the strongest move. I should have played king f6, but this shows the power of the Duras Gambit because even when you play suboptimal moves, you can still win. Now they play queen h5 because monkey c, monkey check. I played g6, f takes g6, king g7, and I wanted to tempt them to take so they can lose their queen like this, but they didn't. They played knight f3, the best move. So I unleashed an attack on the queen with Daruk. And then they monkey c, monkey check. Remember this. They always do this because monkey c, monkey check. But now I played knight to f6. Knight to g5 is played. So here I set up a really sneaky trap. I wanted to attempt them to take with the knights because if they take with the knight and I take back with the bishop and they take back with the queen, they think this is a free pawn, but it's not. I totally knew that all of this was going to happen. I totally calculated all of this in a bullet game. Trust. So they take with a knight, of course, because if they weren't smart enough to play the best move in the beginning of the game, which is g4, they aren't smart enough to play good moves here. So they take the pawn, the quote-unquote free pawn, and they fall for my trap. I take back, and then when they take with the queen, I give a check, and that was a trap. If they're totally going to do this because this is forced. They totally can't just go here. This is not a possible move. This is not legal. They have to play c3, and then I play rook e8, and this pins the queen to the king, and they lose the queen, and yeah, after a few moves, he decided to stall at the time, says he left the game. He was so shocked at how powerful the Duras Gambit was that he had to leave because he was just in awe of this brilliancy. And by the way, I forgot to tell you guys that he had to leave. There was nothing he could do. He was completely losing. I was going to move my king out the board, get an active king, checkmate him. Or maybe win the game by moving my king all the way up to the 8th rank, or the 1st rank, technically. But, yeah, there was nothing he could do. I was completely winning the whole time, even at the start of the game, because f5 is the best move possible. Shows you the power of the Duras Gambit. I think I remember saying at the beginning of the video that there was another move you could play. That move is a g5, but it's not as strong. While g4 is the best first move, g5, it's good, but against e4 you have a much better option, as you can see. Never move your f-pawn 2 squares unless it attacks another pawn. If there's no pawn to attack, make sure to only move it 1 square by playing f3 or f6. But yeah, that's basically it. I hope you learned something very important from this video, and I hope you go on to win all of your chess games because of the power of the Duras Gambit. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.